Twitter is now owned by Elon Musk. I saw this
Boo.
meme. It was like a picture where they took the T off the Tesla and then the rest of the word Twitter. Instead, it's the logo Twitter, but instead of the regular T, they replaced it with the Tesla T.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
interesting because now that they both own it, what does it mean? What do you think it will mean?
Dude, I don't even know. I like it's so weird. Like why did he want to buy Twitter in the first place? Because he he talks about free speech.
Yeah, I don't even
But
know
but
what.
that's the thing, like do you think he's trying to get political with this, or do you think it's actually beneficial for him
It's weird
in a
because
business?
Twitter is not even making that much money. They've been stagnant for the past couple years. Like I feel like Twitter hasn't really figured out how to make money, like the other big social media companies. For the fact that he bought it, knowing I don't know what else he could do. I mean, slap more ads on there. People won't like that. So I don't even know.
Yeah, I think I mean, okay. To be 100% honest, I don't really care that much. It's interesting for sure, and I guess we talk about it, or I want to talk about it because I want to know why. I tried to look up answers, but everything I find is very jarring. It's very political, and I'm like, is it really political or is it something else? Is it a business tactic? Is it
Right?
I mean, I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard that he's gonna destroy it, that he's just gonna like get rid of it, and that he's gonna go for Instagram next. I don't think that's true.
That would be such a bad move.
It would be a terrible move. That's a waste of money right there.
Very much so.
I mean, if you got all that money, why are you spending it on Twitter? Why not do something good like making sure Tesla doors are actually even with each other?
No, I agree. I think the whole idea of buying Twitter is just, it doesn't make sense to me. I think if he were to somehow incorporate it with SpaceX and all his other stuff, maybe, but I don't know how he's gonna do it. I don't know what he's gonna do. I read that his ideas to continue Twitter would be to address bots and spam and all that stuff, and he's looking into ways to use AI to figure out who's human or not, if you're verified or not, and address that. Because I think, yeah, I was thinking about like free speech, right? If you're gonna stop people from using Twitter, that means that includes bots that will start using Twitter. Spamming, and that's still free speech, right?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that he's going to use AI to identify who's not a human and is a bot and then get rid of them. So it's like, so you're utilizing AI to get rid of AI in a sense, right? Because isn't that technically what a bot is? Like when they spam and stuff like that, it's a form of AI.
Yeah,
So isn't it a little redundant that he would use AI to get rid of AI?
yeah. One thing I
But
did hear about is that one of the ideas is to make the algorithm open source. So that means, because you know how let's say, for example, the YouTube algorithm, we don't know how it works, right? And the reason why
no.
that we don't is so that people don't game the system and then figure out how to exploit it. I guess in this case, if it were to be open source, you have more checks and balances of people, um, uh, you know, making sure it won't be exploited. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, there's a possibility where you might have separate groups of different algorithms. So if you subscribe to this group, then you'll be subject to a different algorithm opposed to
Mm-hmm.
just one giant algorithm where you're pulled in with all the other users. So I think that would be good. Because I think the problem with Twitter is that you have so much influence that
Yeah.
one idea, usually I think on Twitter, there's always just one idea. And then everyone usually subscribes to that and then kind of influences people's decision making.
Yeah. Well, it is one of those things that like it makes me think a lot about algorithms in all platforms, like especially with YouTube. Like if you happen to like one video about how to fix your faucet and you exit out of that video, you're gonna get like 10 more videos of
Right?
that sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and like I mean, I there's a part of it that I appreciate about it that's like, okay, well, thank you for feeding me stuff that I am interested in that sense. But at the same time, it's like I'm not really interested in fixing my faucet 10 different ways. I just want to or watch the one video and that's it. Uh, but I feel like that's also a dangerous thing when it comes to like social media platforms like Twitter, because like if you tend to follow one trend, then that's all you're fed,
Yeah.
and it blocks everything else out. So you have like tunnel vision.
Yep.
In all of them. I mean, YouTube as well, Instagram as well. I've been trying to stay away from Instagram, but when I'm on it, I see that. I see how it's very hyper focused on like just a couple of things that I've liked. I'm like,
Yeah, and
um,
that's what they want to do. That's the
it,
problem.
it,
Like they
it
want you to keep
makes
subscribing to these ideas. And if you see a video or some article that feeds that idea, then you're more likely to click it, which means more advertiser dollars.
more time spent on the platform, more money for them.
Yeah.
So basically, that means that if you're liking our content, go ahead and give a like, subscribe, so that you can get notifications when we post more videos, and then you can continue to listen to us.
Yep.
That was not a shameless plug. That was just a plug.
I think the I don't know this whole I was reading people's different opinions on it. And
Mhm.
I think part of the problem is that we have so many companies are at the mercy of advertisers,
Yeah.
right? I think one of the biggest things is that people are worried about is when, Elon Musk takes over, he's going to allow more questionable content because he's going to lift like those bans, more free speech, which might mean more extremist views, more unfavorable content for advertisers, which means advertisers will pull out and,
So
Twitter
it'll
makes
start
less
losing
money,
money.
right?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
But why is that the
Like I
case?
no, like I mean like I understand why that is a concern of people, or one of the major concerns of people. And I can see that happening. I mean, I don't. Do you use Twitter or no?
No, I don't.
I don't either. I mean, I have an account with them, but I don't really use it. But um, I've seen the damages that it can cause.
Yeah.
Um, and and don't get me wrong, I'm all for free speech. Like I love that we are able to share our thoughts and everything like that. But when you have that power and influence, whatever company you are, and if you're taking advantage of that power, and then you have no restrictions or anything like that, then what's the point of a private company at that point,
Yeah.
in a sense? So
I just don't get why advertising is the only way to make money now. The only way to make money for companies to make money is advertising. I guess for Google is they sell your data, but why is that the standard? Like companies, I feel like companies can't do what they really want because they have fear of what the advertisers will, do. Well, I guess maybe that only applies to like social media, especially YouTube. Do you remember the whole adpocalypse situation?
yes, I do.
Remember when YouTube was a place where you can just post anything you want? You'd get flagged
Yep.
for like inappropriate stuff, but you wouldn't get like
Right.
destroyed because of
Y- y-
questionable content.
I do remember that. That was before that was a good time. YouTube was really nice. Um, I feel like it's become too what's the word? Corporalized. Like it's
Corporate,
become
yeah,
too
yeah.
like it's become too corporate. Like there's like you're right. Like if you say one word that they don't like, uh, it could ruin your whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it with PewDiePie.
Yeah.
I mean, was that deserved or was it not deserved? Like, did he deserve to get canceled the way he did for one mistake? But
I mean, he's doing well now, though.
I mean, yeah, he's technically he said that he's retired now, so that's nice.
Yeah, we
Uh,
shouldn't do another episode. I don't really know what PewDiePie does now. Because I remember he did say he was going to retire. And then I saw
yeah.
more videos from him. I was like, wait a second, what's...
So yeah, okay, we'll talk about it in a different episode.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear more about it, we'll do another episode on it because I think his story is really interesting. Me as a PewDiePie fan. Um, but yeah, Apocalypse. I mean,
We'll see
I
what
don't.
happens with
Yeah,
Twitter.
at this point, I feel like people just like to talk. I feel like people just love the drama, and people that say they don't like drama are drama creators. And I
Yeah.
think people on Twitter are already over dramatic. I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
would you agree that Twitter is very dramatic, like overly dramatic?
Probably
Uh,
more... Maybe not as dramatic as Reddit, but...
yeah, yeah, you got that right. Um, but I don't know. I don't know why it's such a big deal. Honestly,
yeah, I don't know
I
either.
think I just want to get more answers. I mean, does somebody know? Does somebody have the answer that I haven't found yet? Like, why did Elon Musk buy? Like, what was his purpose? Does he just want to be that guy? Like, does he want to be like, oh, look at me, I'm the guy that got Twitter, and now you can do whatever you want in it and stuff like that. Like, look up to me, like I'm the best. Or or is he doing it because it legitimately is a business, a good business plan, or not? Was it just because he can? Because he's just weird and he likes being weird and he likes people to know he's weird. But then, like, what is really going to happen? Is this really like as bad as everybody's saying that it's gonna be, or is it gonna be as good as everybody says it's gonna be? I mean, I feel like we get in these situations a lot where people, like something goes the wrong way for people, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is the end of the world," and 10 years later, we're still like where we were before, right? Like nothing's changed, or it's been like minor changes. So are we making too big of a deal out of Elon Musk buying Twitter?
I think
Probably.
we're... You know, I observed this with the show The Housewives of like Potomac. You ever heard of that show?
Housewives of
The
what?
True Housewives of... It's like a bunch of these rich housewives and they live their lives, right? But they're like super rich. It's kind of like the
Hmm.
Kardashians. It's like a Kardashian type show.
I feel like I've heard the title before, but I've never seen it.
The Housewives of Detroit. Anyway, my point being is that I notice in these shows, they make little things such a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because all their necessities in life have been taken care of, like their food, their housing. They don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. So now they have their only choice is to worry about what did this person say? Oh, this person's gossiping. Like, oh, they like that's their only choice is to worry about the little things. I think we're at a point where we have so many good, at least in maybe in America, uh, we have so many good amenities living in a country like this that we start to worry about the little stuff. We have nothing else to worry about, so we worry about Twitter. We worry about, uh, you know,
Like,
blue gold dress stuff like that. You know. masks or I don't know.
kind of it's a bit of a first world
First world
country
problems. Yeah,
problems. Yeah, first
yeah,
world problems.
yeah.
Like yeah, we over dramatize it because we have
Nothing
no
better to
real
do.
thing to complain about.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure there's enough. I know that there's like different regions have different problems and stuff like that. But you're right. I think overall, I feel like that's one of the reasons why it's just something to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh, whether it's to distract yourself from something else or because there's really literally nothing else to talk about, so you have to talk about that. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like movies are barely making a comeback, but for the last 2 years, we don't really talk about movies the way we used to. At least not in my life. Like I feel like I used to go watch movies every other weekend, and now it's
Right?
like it's
Yeah.
the one movie every now and then. And now that we're getting movies back in the theaters and we're going back to the theaters, I feel like it's been more of a conversation. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everything, everywhere, all at once. Have you seen that?
Oh, I I recognize that name.
You gotta see it. And that's the thing. I've been telling ever since I saw that movie. I've been telling everybody to go watch it because it's such a good movie that is
What is
not a
it called again?
franchise. So what?
What's the movie called again?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
I'll have to look that up.
Go watch it in theaters before they took it away.
Oh, it just came out.
Not that long ago. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, tell us your thoughts about Twitter, everybody. Um, we'd like to know. Tell us what you're excited about, what you're scared about Twitter or this acquisition. So let us in the comments.